Alrighty, guys. Good evening. Happy fucking sad son. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening so far, guys. Good evening, wait. Hope you guys are having a good evening. In general. Good. Sup, dude? Uh-huh. Ah, yes. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm. So, we've been doing some tweaking even prior to going to Windows 11, doing some tweaking on my 13900K. Yeah, Windows 11 apparently has done a number on my accuracy. I don't know if that's going to remain. I might go back to Windows 10 if I can't figure out how to iron things out. But so far, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to figure something out here. I have not exhausted all my options. Last night we kind of figured out some weird shit and seem to have made it better. But I played this morning and still couldn't figure things completely out. I don't know if it's just because of the kind of people I'm playing against or if it's because it's actually Windows 11. I'm not sure. Evening Impulse. Alrighty. Anyways, we're gonna be playing more Overwatch 2 here tonight, guys, after the podcast section. Double XP weekend, yay, or something, I don't know. Good. Hope you guys are having a good evening, though. Ah, yes. Mm-hmm. Horrible Windows 11 install experience. Fuck that shit. A rogue firewall. Mm-hmm. I see. Oh my god, AVE's bitching about something again? Kinda wanna see it. Is he gonna cut a battery in half? Is it gonna explode? There's a hardware unboxed out too? Oh my god. The rumor's floating that there's going to be a 4090 Ti and possibly maybe a 4080 Ti that's announced at GDC this year, which is at the end of the month. So I'm just going to put off ordering a video card again because right now it feels like a horrible time to. We're We're at the end of an upgrade cycle of some kind right now. Not that the 5000 series is going to come out. That's probably going to be next year, or maybe in the summer of next year. But probably about due for releasing new video cards. They want to take a look at John Oliver, but not quite yet. Pool Guy's releasing a lot of videos. The rotary jail had a slight problem. It cut people's arms off. You don't say. Great idea. Stick your arm outside of it. I'm sure it was used for not so much accidental, but intentional de-arming. Yeah. Good. By Intel CPUs or Intel GPUs, they should price them accordingly for a new, ever happened to computer viruses? Microsoft Defender happened, and they did a pretty good job on it. Good, good, good. Still exists, and they still try to install them on your computer. Okay. I thought they're going to do a 50-game benchmark of the 7900 X3D, and I guess they didn't do that. That's a shame. Are they waiting for the 7800 X3D? He's on vacation. I hate the fucking new volume control. It's like that on my screen.
Another mega benchmark video for you. This time comparing the new Radeon RX 7900 XT head-to-head with the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti in 50 games. So there are some titles that have been tested using multiple different configurations with and without ray tracing, for example. So there is plenty of data to go over. Before we do, today's sponsor spot is brought to you by
I'm your sponsor. Call me Daddy.
Bytes per second. The piece of mind can be had for $830 US, which is actually $70 below the MSRP. So that's pretty nice to see. In fact, quite a few 7900 XTs are now selling below the MSRP, with some as low as $800. Not quite as low as we would have liked based on our day one review, but $800 is certainly a lot nicer than $900, and does make me wonder why AMD just didn't start at that price to begin with.
From what I understand, they might even drop even further by, I think, $150.
Then for comparison, we have the Asus TUF Gaming RTX 4070 Ti, which is one of the
GDC, end of the month, is apparently where there's going to be possibly new video cards announced, which is what I'm waiting for, because $1,600 is a hard swallow.
And that means, as it stands
hard,
right now,
unenjoyable swallow.
7900 XTs available for $800 US, while the cheapest 4070 Ti is $830, but most of them do cost $850 or more. So not a massive difference in price there, but the Radeon GPU is now cheaper, despite the fact that it should cost $100 US more, at least when both cards are priced at their MSRPs. Now, I think it's fair to say that my initial Radeon RX 7900 XT review wasn't all that favorable, and in short, I found this product to offer exceptionally poor value at $900 US. You'd without question spend $100
not compared to NVIDIA though, just compared to subjective criticism.
In terms of value, at least in my opinion. The GeForce competition, on the other hand, was really not that much better. The RTX 4080 set a rather low bar.
It's worse. He's comparing it to a fictitious baseline.
US, and you'd think AMD would have jumped at the chance to make NVIDIA look foolish, but apparently not. NVIDIA then replied to the weak 7900 XT with an almost equally weak offering, the RTX 4070 Ti at $800.
But it's basically the same price performance, a little bit cheaper.
The lower price tag placed it in a
They're just faulting it because it's so expensive, which I actually agree with. They're really fucking expensive. But still, AMD is definitely still cheaper than NVIDIA right now, so
that's the more affordable option. So it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up with the latest drivers across a massive range of games. So let's go look into that.
Mm-hmm.
For testing, the CPU used is the Ryzen 9 7950X 3D, but with the second CCD disabled. And this has been done to ensure maximum performance in all games. So essentially, we're testing with the yet-to-be-released 7800X 3D.
Uh-huh.
This CPU has been tested on the Gigabyte X670
Disable half your
Smart using
$700
32
CPU.
gigabytes of DDR5
Yeah.
NCL30
I
memory.
mean, apparently, I've been
and the
looking at some
latest
benchmarks.
AMD
Apparently,
A15
there is an idea to
As usual, we'll go
disable
over the data for around a dozen
3 out of the
trials
4
tested before
E-cores
jumping
for
into
each,
big breakdown
what's it
graphs
called,
for all 50
sector?
games.
Sector?
So if a game that you're
On the
interested in wasn't covered here,
1300K.
such as Apex
Because
Legends,
it gives you better
just be aware
performance.
that game was tested and it is in the big breakdown graphs, which, as I said, we'll get to towards the end
Pretty
of the video.
hilarious.
And of course, the resolutions of interest here are 1440p and 4K. So let's get into it. Starting with Fortnite using the Epic Quality preset in the DirectX 11 mode, we find that the 4070 Ti is the faster GPU, though frame time consistency isn't nearly as good as what we see with the 7900 XT, with a much larger
Yikes.
variance between the average frame rate and 1% lows. As a result, the 4070 Ti was 8% faster on average at 1440p, but 17% slower when comparing 1% lows. The performance trends at 4K do change though, and now the 4070 Ti is the clear winner, delivering 9% greater average frame rates with 13% greater 1% lows. Now, using the exact same visual quality settings, but moving to the DirectX 12 API, we do see a massive decline in frame rates, especially at 1440p, where the 4070 Ti is a little over 30% slower. Now, some of you have commented in the past that the game does run better for you using DirectX 12 opposed to DirectX 11, but that has certainly not been the case for me with the Epic Quality settings and a rather powerful CPU. It is possible those of you with weaker CPUs will find DirectX 12 to be faster, but typically I'd expect you'll find more frames when using DirectX 11. Now, with hardware ray tracing enabled, and I want to be very clear on that, hardware ray tracing is the option that was enabled for this testing, along with Lumen and Nanite, we find that performance is very similar using either GPU. And this means in one of the more impressive examples of ray tracing that we have to date, at least in my opinion, RDNA3 is able to match Ada Lovelace. Therefore, it's going to be very interesting to see how these two architectures compare in future Unreal 5 engine titles using ray tracing.
Uh-huh.
Now,
I would not hedge my
to
bet
Modern
on
Warfare 2,
7000
I've
series
dropped
just
the
yet for ray
basic
tracing, though.
quality preset testing from this
It's the one thing I
comparison.
don't recommend them for.
Felt testing this title twice with two very different quality presets was only done to give AMD an advantage, and this was despite the fact that the second result accounted for less than a 1% change for the overall result, given that there were 62 data points. I guess being a fanboy doesn't make you particularly good at math. Anyway, scaling was the same, so we might as well just focus on the ultra data. Anyway, scaling between the RTX 4080 and 7900 XTX in that previous test was the same, so we might as well just focus on the ultra data. Here, the 7900 XT blasted the 4070 Ti by a 31% margin at 1440p, pumping out 174 FPS on average, and then at 4K, the Radeon GPU was still faster, but this time by a slightly smaller 23% margin, going from 82 FPS to 101 FPS, and you will still certainly notice that difference. Next up, we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt using the ultra quality preset, but with the new ray tracing effects disabled. Here, both GPUs pumped out just shy of 200 FPS at 1440p, and then over 100 FPS at 4K, though here the 7900 XT was 11% faster. So good performance overall from both products, and they did deliver a highly enjoyable gaming experience. Now, with ray tracing enabled, I've also gone ahead and enabled upscaling using FSR2 quality mode, as this allows for an apples-to-apples comparison. And even with the help of upscaling, neither GPU could manage even 60 FPS at 1440p, meaning performance was around 4 times greater with the RTFX disabled. That's a shocking difference, and for me personally, it means I couldn't justify enabling RT in this title, especially given we're also using upscaling here. Still, if you want to use ray tracing, the RTX 4070 Ti is the better choice for this title, delivering 20% more performance at 1440p. As for 4K though, I think we can ignore those results unless you're happy with a sad console like 30 FPS on your premium and very...
By the way, the 4070 Ti is basically 3080, which you can buy for
this is a title that we tested
$500 on
exclusively
eBay.
with ray tracing enabled, as that is the default configuration we're using the ultra high quality preset. For those of you after more frames, your first stop here should be to disable RTFX, as it does massively boost frame rates for only a very minor downgrade in visuals. In any case, frame rates here were decent, with over 100 FPS at 1440p and 60 FPS at 4K, and both GPUs enabled the same level of performance. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide was also benchmarked with ray tracing enabled, and this provided the 4070 Ti with a 14% performance advantage at 1440p, but did seem to break performance at 4K, seeing we're looking at the 1% lows, as we're exceeding the VRAM buffer here. Still, the 7900 XT did only manage 31 FPS, so it's not exactly a win in my book. A Plague Tale Requiem was tested using the ultra quality preset, and here the 1700 XT was much faster, delivering 22% more frames at 1440p and 25% more at 4K, so a comfortable win here for AMD in this relatively new title. The Callisto Protocol is another new title, and this one enables FSR2 quality by default when using the ultra quality preset, so we didn't change that, and as a result both GPUs were good for over 170 FPS at 1440p and over 100 FPS at 4K. The 7900 XT was a smidgen faster, but overall performance was much the same. Atomic Heart is the most recently released game that we're testing with, and it's yet another game built upon the Unreal Engine 4 game engine. At 1440p, both GPUs delivered 103 FPS using the maximum in-game visual quality settings, and then just over 60 FPS at 4K, where the 7900 XT was 10% faster. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 has been tested using the high-quality preset with upscaling manually disabled, though do also have some RT results, which we'll look at in a moment. At 1440p, the 7900 XT was 18% faster than the 4070
Sorry, guys,
Ti,
taking care of some business stuff.
117 FPS. Then we see that the margin does blow out to 34% at 4K.
Oh my god. They added a little shadow of the color of the company, although it looks like pink and green instead of red and green.
Now, with ray tracing enabled, along with FSR2 quality for some upscaling, we find dramatically different results. At 1440p, frame rates for the 7900 XT.
This is one of the things I don't like is where they do, so they're going to combine all these games together. And while they say they have, they're testing 50 plus games, it's basically 25 because then they split in half, which is still a significant amount of games, mind you. And they're going to include the ray tracing results with the other results and just smash them together, which I don't agree with at all. Which normally they separate them.
For the RT result. The 4070 Ti, on the other hand, that saw just a 14% decline in performance, and as a result, was capable of delivering well over 60 FPS at 1440p. Then the 4K results, they're even more interesting. Here the 7900 XT saw a 44% decrease in frame rate, whereas the 4070 Ti delivered the same level of performance, and this is possible thanks to upscaling. So whereas the 7900 XT was 34% faster at 4K with RT disabled, it's now 25% slower with the RTFX enabled. Last up, we have everyone's favourite video game, Hogwarts Legacy. The 7900 XT rips the 4070 Ti, a new one in this title, delivering 28% more frames at 1440p with a staggering 56% increase for the 1% lows. The margins do close up at 4K though, and now the 7900 XT is just 16% faster, which admittedly is still quite a significant margin, but it's also nothing like what we saw at 1440p. Now, enabling ray tracing does change the picture quite a bit. Not so much in-game, depending on where you are, but it certainly changes how our graphs look. The 7900 XT no longer dominates the 4070
That's because of VRAM at 4K?
And in fact, at 1440p is now 9% slower, with just 59 FPS on average. That's a massive 54% reduction in frame rate for the 7900 XT when enabling ray tracing, and a 36%.
I still think 1080p and 4K should be what they're testing right now.
The 4070 Ti does run into VRAM
regardless of possibly running into a CPU bottleneck at 1080p.
With just
it'd be a good indicator if there's a spread difference, which you can see here. It would accentuate the spread difference between the two. And sometimes certain graphics cards will run better at lower resolutions regardless of VRAM, which is not necessarily anything to do with your processor.
Okay, so we've taken a detailed look at just a few of the 50 individual games tested. Now it is time to compare the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti and Radeon RX 1700 XT across all of the games I've spent about the past week benchmarking. And of course, we will start with the 1440p data. Well, that's rather unexciting, isn't it? After a massive round of benchmarking, we found that the 1700 XT and 4070 Ti are neck and neck at 1440p. Though that probably shouldn't come as a surprise, really.
But this includes ray tracing, so
4% faster on average.
If you notice here, guys, if we expand here and we look down the column here, you can see a lot of the negatives. Uh, which direction is it going here? I don't know which side is 7900 XT and which side is 4090. Excuse me, 4070 Ti and 7900 XT. I don't know which side's which because it's not really labeled. I assume this is 7900 XT. This is based on 7900 XT compared to a 4070 Ti, or which is the reference point. Whether this is the reference point of the 4070 Ti or the reference point of the 7900 XT, because you don't know which is actually at the top here in terms of. You'd have to go back to the benchmarks and basically look at it. Well, we can assume that the bottom here, this is based on the 7900 XT, and the reference point is the 4070 Ti because it's very negative at the RT. So if you look here, when you go down the list here, this is once again why I don't like that they combine ray tracing numbers with the rasterization numbers for an overall view, because it's the first thing you turn off. And if you look down here, all the ray tracing results are negative, right? And if you subtract those, it makes whatever card this is based on, which I assume is 7900 XT, look a lot better.
Average in our day one review, where we largely separated the
They might remove them too,
rasterization
so.
and ray tracing results. With many more RT-enabled results, the margins don't really change all that much, so it's fair to say the 7900 XT and 4070 Ti are overall very similar. Of course, we still see performance swings of around 30% in either direction. Modern Warfare 2, Hogwarts Legacy with RT disabled, and A Plague Tale Requiem are all great titles for the 7900 XT, whereas Cyberpunk 2077 with RT enabled, Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, which of course uses RT, Dying Light 2 with RT enabled, and The Witcher 3 also with RT enabled, are all weak titles for the 7900 XT. So while it's quite clear that the 4070 Ti typically does much better with RT enabled, that's not always the case. And a good example of this is Fortnite, where performance was much the same. Therefore, moving forward, ray tracing performance between these two products could be a lot more competitive, especially for games using the Unreal Engine 5. Now, in our day one review, the 7900 XT was 8% faster than the 4070 Ti at 4K, and here with many more games and a lot more RT results, it's just 3% faster. So about what you'd expect based on the 1440p results. So that's a technical win for the Radeon GPU, but really anything within a 5% margin can be considered a draw. So there you have it. The Radeon RX 1700 XT versus GeForce RTX 4070 Ti in a massive sample of games. Overall, they are quite similar in terms of performance. The 1700 XT generally does better with ray tracing disabled. Hogwarts Legacy, The Witcher 3, Dying Light 2, and Cyberpunk 2077 were all good examples of that. But there are signs that ray tracing performance in future titles using the Unreal Engine 5 could be a lot more competitive, as we saw in Fortnite. Still, if you're very keen on ray tracing performance, then the RTX 4070 Ti would be the more attractive product. Though, based on several polls we've run over the past few years, it really does seem as though there are very few of you willing to stomach the performance hit for what RT currently has to offer. But in any case, in the vast majority of ray tracing enabled titles we have today, the RTX 4070 Ti puts on a better show. There's also the little matter of upscaling. DLSS is still king in that arena, and while it's not always head and shoulders better than FSR, it is an advantage of the GeForce GPUs. On that note, I'm sure there'll be some Nvidia fans upset that we didn't test with DLSS enabled, but there's a very good reason for that. If we're going to use DLSS, we have to also use upscaling for the Radeon GPUs, and then you run into a bit of an apples to oranges comparison, both in terms of image quality and performance. So it's just easier and certainly a lot more accurate to test both with an upscaling technology that they both support. Ideally the same technology like FSR2, and I'm sure that makes sense to most of you. There aren't too many other ways you can really compare these products. I guess power consumption is one, but really power consumption is very similar between these two GPUs. Generally the Radeon GPU does use a little bit more power, but it's also generally a little bit faster in those examples. So I'd say performance per watt is much the same and certainly not a big enough difference there to matter. Probably the most significant difference is the fact that the 7900 XT packs 20GB of VRAM, whereas the 4070 Ti has just 12GB. Now, today I'd consider 12GB as more of a minimum memory spec, and it's certainly a capacity that's more at home on a more mid-range or possibly even an entry-level graphics card. Really, at $800, you'd expect 16GB to be the minimum, so the 7900 XT and its almost 70% increase in VRAM is far better equipped for future titles. Of course, 12GB is still enough for the vast majority of games available today, basically all of them really, especially under playable conditions, but we've seen how poorly high-end 8GB models such as the RTX 3070 Ti have aged, and I don't expect the 4070 Ti will be all that much better in that regard. As for display drivers, I know people like to rag on AMD here, and maybe rightfully so in some instances, but the truth is, as of late, Nvidia has had just as many driver-related issues, and their GeForce experience is kind of garbage, not least of all because you need an account to log in. The
Mm-hmm.
interface is now very old, it's in desperate need of an overhaul, and features for stuff like Shadow Play are severely lacking when compared to Radeon Relive. At the end of the day, though, the biggest issue for the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti right now is the fact that it actually costs more. It might only be around $50 more, which is a mere 6% premium, so I wouldn't say the price is a deal breaker by any means, but with slightly superior upscaling support thanks to DLSS and more mature ray tracing, the 4070 Ti does very little to justify that premium. Frankly, at around $800 to $850 US, I'm none too impressed with either of these products. And on that note, let's quickly revisit the cost per frame data from my day one review, but with the updated retail pricing for the 1700 XT and 4070 Ti. For the retail pricing to be valid, at least two different models have to be available for that price. So that sees the 4070 Ti at $850 and the 1700 XT at $800. I'm also using our day one data where the 1700 XT was 8% faster at 4K due to games like Cyberpunk tested without RT enabled, so take this as more of a rough guide. It's really more to see how these current gen products stack up against previous generation models for those of you thinking of upgrading. What this data really highlights for me is how much AMD screwed up with the ridiculous $900 asking price of the 7900 XT. Had they started at $800, our review would have looked very different, and although I still believe this should be a $700 product, $800 is a lot easier to stomach when compared to $900. And not only that, but at $800, the 7900 XT is better value than both the 6800 and 6800 XT at their MSRP, so that is good to see.
You can get them
The
even cheaper on
4070
eBay.
Ti was meant
Same
to
thing with
cost $800,
3080.
but in reality it's more like $850, which places it roughly on par with the 3080 10GB at its MSRP, so not exactly moving the needle forward there. Basically, when compared to previous generation products, the 7900 XT is mildly attractive at $800, while the 4070 Ti is a bit of a nothing burger at $850. At the end of the day, though, they are likely to occupy roughly the same price point over the next year or so, and with similar features and performance, I don't think you can go too wrong with either option, and there's certainly no other alternatives at this performance tier. That said, can't believe I'm going to say this, but with $100 now knocked off the price, I think I'd go with the 7900 XT, as I do expect that extra VRAM capacity to come in handy down the track, and with no other real drawbacks, it seems as though it is the better option to me, especially given that right now it is slightly cheaper. Having said all of that, I really wouldn't passionately argue for or against. They're both very solid options in today's market, so just go over the data and pick the one that makes the most sense for your use case. And that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a like. It was a tremendous amount of work to benchmark these two graphics cards in so many games. And also we have Floatplane and Patreon. Links for those are in the video description. Signing up to either one of those will give you access to our exclusive Discord server, members only, a monthly live stream for members, behind the scenes content and Q&As. So some pretty cool stuff there. Check it out if you're interested, but if not, that is perfectly fine. Oh, and you can also grab all 50 graphs for all the individual games. Actually, there's more than 50 graphs. There's about 60 something graphs, but you can grab all of those for Floatplane and Patreon members. Otherwise, yeah, you've got the data for the totals in this video anyway, but if you'd like to have a closer look at any of those games, we do make all that data available for our members. And I would like to thank you for watching this video. I'm your host, Steve. See you again next time.
Bye, Steve. Motherfucker. Oh, jeez. Stuff and things and stuff. I want to leave a comment here. Hmm. Good. Okay. Yep. So, still think. I think there should be a separation between rasterization and ray tracing results, and the price performance. Either make a separate chart for rasterization and one for RT, or a combined one and another one that removes RT numbers. It is literally the first switch that people turn off, and most people know it's more of a meme than something you keep on because you want to see that glint of a missile in someone's eyeball bouncing off a bus window. AMD should just give me free money. I see. 161 upvotes. Mm-hmm. Bigger frame buffer is a huge difference. In some cases, I got sucked into FO76 and like to play with HD textures, but frame buffer my 3008 is too small. So you need more texture memory? Mm-hmm. Good, good, good. Alrighty. Let's see. Good, good. Okay. Thing I'd add is that all games which do not require ray tracing effects should be run with both with and without. A small fraction of gamers use these effects. Yeah, not so eloquently put, but yeah, something I've been talking about for over a year, 2 years at this point, 3. It's basically the first thing people know. It's a meme. Ray tracing is a fucking meme. It's not how you play games, especially fast-paced ones. And while he has a separate results, they're included in the benchmarks.
Have you ever seen an unmatched set of planet gears? Is that some sort of newfangled technology with the built-in weeble wobbles, or is that? I think, as the French say, that's the fucky. What? Crack-a-lack and cuz to the redoubtable revelry of rabbis everywhere. The bris omatic 9,000, 1,100 cuts per charge, not to be used on the Sabbath, mind. That one wasn't mine. Our buddy this old was looking for one of these dingus loppers. You get to a certain age, married man, you start losing the grip strength to get the job done. Not to worry, partner. I got you. Start the clock.
Oh, yeah? He decided he needed a new axe with his tool?
Matt hasn't lived
Still
up to
has the
its
tag on it.
reputation. Look at this. I bought it with the money I saved. Can you believe that? $42 hairs. Got her on a coupon for 10. Whisper quiet. It's time. Now, you'd be right and proper to question my provenance, but as an unconscious
For
adherent
cutting
to the
limbs?
seven
The
Noahide
fuck is it
laws,
for?
and just the tip of the other mitzvah, I'm distinctly qualified. What for testing this thing out? And excuse me, I just, you get a good tool, and you just gotta. Oh, that's way too fast. Still, just the tip. Oh, Jesus. He was a Jewish carpenter himself. And also, the case in point why you do not fuck with the bankers. Cast him out of the temple, and the next day he was dead. This is more Baby Doll's wheelhouse, but strikes me as a little too quick. For nefarious purposes, I ought to slow it down. That would increase the horde. Yeah, that needs to be slowed down for use with Mossad or organized crime. One and the same, you say? If you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun of? Well, it ain't no fucking good.
I mean, rope's pretty fucking hard to cut. Probably means the jaw isn't aligning properly with itself. Like, because obviously, if the jaw splits apart, just like with scissors, it splits apart, it can't do shit.
Ugh. Time! I don't know if you're catching this through the internet tubes, but this thing is horrifying. It's way more intimidating than a pew-pew, maybe about on par with a flamethrower, but you don't got the backpack and the diesel and the jellied fuel. Somebody come at you with this, run the other way. Yeah. The lads at the Wilt, they got themselves a winner here. They got to get into Hollywood, into one of them Disney movies, product placement. People kind of be packing these in their garter belts for self-defense. Bruh. I'm serial, man. You're going to see one of these in a horror movie right quick, fast, in a hurry. There, that's better. Got a happy, friendly smile. That'll never lop your dick off. Happy.
That makes it all better if it has a smiley on it.
Oh, that's interesting. Look at that gear. Beefy. Before we get into the skookumness, a lot of times these prosumer tools, the ones you use in the garden, are kind of chintzy. Not in this case. You see by the labels, it's nice and thick. Also, PP and glass fiber reinforced 30% TPE. I do not, however, see any Confederation of Rabbis label for safe snacking. Not that I have a conspiratorial bent in my body. Well, beyond that one. But, you know, when you see some Mexican hot sauce and you're safe snacking by enjoying some mitzvahs at the same time, or a mitzvah, one of the 613 of them anyway. Well, it's kind of nice to know at least somebody's looking at that. Somebody's performing their rabbinical duties to make sure that, you know, this is all, well, kosher. You know, as a lapsed misanthrope myself, I hate people in general, but I love individuals. Well, I strongly like individuals. As a boring white guy, I can say this. The interesting cultures of humanity. I mean, what is with the Hasidics and those goofy looking curls? What is with that? So I looked it up. It's called a mitzvah and it's in the Bible. God, actually, this is one of the few religions in the entire planet. Allow me some disbursement here. That God actually came down and gave the Torah directly to his chosen people. That's amazing to me. And one of the mitzvahs, not a
Jewish?
commandment, but just sort of a rule. And it's fascinating because you don't have to do all the rules. The more mitzvahs you do, the harder your life is and the closer you get to God. So these curls, these goofy looking curls, I thought were goofy. Okay, hold on. Turns out that you're not supposed to you're supposed to leave your beard hairs unshorn. So the reason they got the curls is because they don't want to mistake a head hair for a beard hair. So just to err on the side of safety, they let the close to the beard hair, they just let it grow. Frankly, that's fucking badass. I'll let you know as my conversion to Judaism continues. They only took a 1/4 inch off, but I'm already halfway there. Somebody maybe can help me with these terminals. It looks to be plated with copper, or a very thin mote of copper. It's got that distinct copper-esque, but it's probably a nickel terminal, possibly with if I could get you to frame it, there you go, possibly with a light dusting of copper electrode. Interesting, anyway. I haven't seen that kind of finish on there. They twisted up this triaxial pair, quad-axial pair for the balancing circuit and the heat and so forth into the brain boxery. No dearth of elastic on there, must have been a sale. And onto an interlock switch, a little micro switch, prevents you from actuating the trigger so as not to lop too much of her off. Tools and dick jokes, man. Tools and dick jokes. Here's an interesting artifact of design groupthink. No, design engineering think. Here we have the interlock micro switch, and here we have the trigger micro switch, both micro switches, and that's consequently why there is no speed control, because there is nothing to feed back the position of this other than horn and ORF, and that's why it only actuates when this is fully depressed. It doesn't go slower, it doesn't go faster. There's a more interlocks on here than a Glock, but what you can see is these micro switches feed into the brain box. Wires all the way through, but really, if I were to do this, if I were to make this at home, and you too, you would wire these in series, and then if both of them are closed, then it ain't gonna chooch. But in this case, the microcontroller is checking to make sure that not only this changes state, but also this changes state. More complexity for why?
Engineers.
Gearbox assembly.
Because they could. Probably because they could.
Die cast aluminum. Looks like a nice die casting as well. Oh, that's a flywheel is what that is. So that's the flywheel housing. Aha. To help you along. Feeds through a gearbox. That's interesting. Oh, wow. So they've got location pins in there, but they don't go through holes. They go through slots, so you can actually pull it off. That's interesting. I've not seen that before. Normally you see the pins. I don't even know if you're in frame. Hey, wonders never cease. Normally that would lock right in. But I guess what you're relying on here is the location of these screws, so it can't weeble wobble around axially. Yeah. For ease of assembly. There's a motor, nothing special. Brushed DC motor, flat bladed impellers, steel, some sort of steel magnetic flux ring around the perimeter, some nylon 6/6 adhered or fastened from the inside to the front of the motor housing. Little pinion gear, thrust washer. Bob's your auntie. Oh, fascinating. Okay. Here's the casement. Now, normally in a drill motor, we see these are in stages. That's because we want different gear ratios so we get speed reductions. In this case, we only want the one torque cue. Lots. Appears to be two-stage. Well, fine. Yeah, two-stage. And then inputs into a spiral bevel gear set, which outputs on a quite beefy.
He knows that if he pulls it apart, there's a high probability it's not going back together.
It's on a segment gear. Just the segment. And it chooches to and fro. A reason it can do that, because there's a neodymium magnet in there, what actuates on a Hall effect sensor. This Hall effect sensor, as the magnet wipes past it, it changes. Well, the Hall effect sensor detects that change in magnetic fields, sends that to the brain box, and the brain box says, oh, I'm at the end of travel. Oh, I got to go back to the start of travel. Hey, we're going to get her back together, see if she's the cock for Dolly, or in this case, for this old Tony. Hey, don't judge. We'll get her back together. I want to tell you a story about while I get it back together. Not long into our marriage, I got into the Second World War, as men of a certain age are wont to do. The thing is, Baby Doll is a student of human suffering. That's probably why she married me. But she was also very interested in the trials and tribulations of people who had been through Mauthausen and Auschwitz. And, it really fascinated her, that horrible stage of human history. Of course, the Holocaust, well, even that word is a very loaded word, because if you look up the etymology of Holocaust, it's quite disconcerting. I don't know who decided to call it the Holocaust etymology. Man, people mix that up, really bug me. far for me to judge. It's not part of the purview of this one. But we were researching, and I was into this golem idea, the golem of Czech Republic, Prague. So we had gone to the Jewish cemetery in Prague, and it's a it's a UNESCO site. It's
You went to Europe.
But
I've been to Europe.
here's my bias showing. We get to the door, and I pay our 15 euros to get in for the each of us, and then the men get set aside, and we have to wear head coverings. Of course, I wasn't wearing a ball cap or anything because I'm in Europe. You don't dress like a toddler in Europe. You can do that in your home country, not in other countries. So I was properly attired with button up, and the wife was properly attired as well. You know, we're conscientious about that sort of thing. They make me pay for a yarmulke, a blue, chintzy, crappy yarmulke, printed emblazoned with the Jewish Museum and all that sort of stuff on there. And I thought to myself, I think it was almost €5 at the time, quite dear. I thought to myself, for what it was, I thought to myself, wow, this is a fucking bad look. I kind of had a rueful chuckle to myself, but okay. Go through the museum and see all the things there are to see, and do a little solemnity together and think about the human condition. But at least I have a souvenir, what I paid for and I wore, and in this yarmulke.
The rental?
The end, where you're going out. Well, the son of a bleaches, they make you give back the yarmulke. Well, they're not going to reuse them. They're just cheap paper. Why would you take it back? I want to take it home with me as a souvenir. Can't. But I paid for it. No, you rented it. Oh, this is, I'm telling you, I don't like the look of this at all. And then years later, I come to realize, unfortunately, the world we live in, they have to do that. Because if it's not dear, then it gets disrespected and it gets thrown around. So then they're cleaning up the thing. But then if they don't take it back at the end of the shift, if they don't take it back at the end of the tour, then they're going to end up all over town laying in the streets. And that is not acceptable. So now I understand that a little thoughtfulness goes a long way, I guess. Look at this.
So they do it so they won't be litter. Not necessarily because, I mean, if you want to, like, it makes me, in a case like that, guys, in a case like that, it does make me actually wonder if maybe they should, you know, if someone expresses interest in keeping it as a souvenir, they give it to them. But if people are going to throw them away, it's like fucking glasses when you go to the theater. You don't have to recycle your glasses when you go to the theater. Like, they have a box there, you can throw them in. You could keep the 3D glasses if you want to, but it's still there if as a way of just removing them from circulation and recycling them.
Well, wobbling on that pin. I think that's the wrong gear. What the... Have you ever seen an unmatched set of Planet gears? Is that some sort of newfangled technology with the built-in Weeble Wobbles, or is that... I think, as the French say, that's the fuck eh. Look at that. A clou. Not many of those around here, but... See the mark? That round mark on the thrust bearing? Where only the one Planet gear has been touching? That is not right. What the bloody hell? That was an owl joke. If you know, you know. The pinion's the wrong way. It's the wrong gear. Since we've already desecrated the Prime Directive, talking about Judaism on YouTube. No. Using it, taking it, something. We're going to try it. It's an interesting mechanism, so I want to see what it looks. Uh-oh.
You have to depress both of them?
Now, it's good I tested it because it has to be timed, apparently. Oh, and you also have to be smarter than the tool. There we go. So it auto times. It's interesting how it flip-flops. That is, it opens, it closes, and it opens automatically. I wonder if that's dangerous or safe.
Oh?
If it's doing something
Or it just keeps going?
commanded. Interesting. I would think that they would have had to study that quite closely as to whether or not it should open and close, or just close and then open on a different actuation. You know, have a toggle trigger. Because in this embodiment, it's doing an automatic function. I think you're pretty safe. You get your dingus caught on this side of it anyway. Back together, we'll give her a test.
Good.
Fact. Once again, for the second time, we're going to test the root. Ain't got no sticks. What do you think, they grow on trees? I do have the free stirring sticks that you get from the homeless despot. They're free because you buy a cart full of crap on your corporate account. Don't pay for 6 months. Don't mind if I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy fuck. Learning close. Careful, real listenly.
Not the
Squint your
pen.
eyes hard enough. You can't see anything at all. Holy Jesus.
Not the white pen.
This thing's a bloody terror. I thought that was the dead one. Son of a...
Humor. Who's going to click
This thing's so
that?
bloody fast, you gotta kind of commit.
Oh, Jesus
Ugh.
Christ. I mean, it's not lithium, so. It seems as though this is like one step away from a chainsaw.
There you have it. The Brissomatic
Bloody-
9000. This
bloody
is
maw.
a hell of a machine. Unfortunately for the fellow what put this together with the wrong gear. Well, his kidneys will go to a good home, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick out of this thing.
Was that my computer or was that his video?
The Brissomatic 9000. This thing's a killer machine. Unfortunately for the fellow what put this together with the wrong gear. Well, his kidneys will go to a good home, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick out of this thing.
That was my computer. The fuck? The fuck was that? I was interrupting my video playing. What is this? What's going on here? What is that? Stop that. Doing that. I don't know what's doing that. That's not what we want to see, guys. Okay. I fucking hate the new Windows 10. This is like Windows 8 all over again, guys. The new Windows 11 UI is terrible. It's absolutely fucking terrible. I need another, like, the fucking UI's gone for the volume, so I can't, like, look up the top of the screen and see what volume I'm at anymore for exact measuring. Instead, I have to open the volume console here. Same thing with, like, they replaced the right-click menu with the new one. Luckily, that can be replaced easily. Why? Why would you do that? Why? Don't do that. Stop that. Oh, geez, guys. Okay. Let's do an upload. Yesterday. What was yesterday? I guess it was the 10th. Let's stream was the 10th. Copyright. Oh my god. John Oliver. Not John Oliver. Tom Scott. Not DMCing me. Thanks, Tom Scott, for not suing my pants off. Did I fuck something? Did I not upload a video yesterday? Wrong date. Not spam my subscribers. One view. Good. One more than I had before. I'll take it. Oh, there's an Overwatch thing to cover tonight. I see. Before we forget about that. Good. Okay. Character stake. Let's get Charles here to redo us.
Google.
I'll wash my coffee cup out, guys, and grab a soda. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. Let's see what bad decisions the developers are making now. Okay.
Two weeks ago, we talked about balance and matchmaking in our blog update. Matchmaking has continued to be a big topic in the community, and it's something
Because you get goals playing with GMs.
If it's important to you, then it's important for us to talk about.
Okay.
So I'd like to update you all on what we're seeing and doing. One note before we begin, I think we're at risk of sounding like a broken record with our communication on matchmaking. We're working on it and it's getting better, isn't the best message.
They're saying so.
Especially when players are still experiencing bad matches. So, I wanted to share some data to help you better understand the state of matchmaking and the impact of some of our recent changes. Let's get into it. Over the past week, we've made changes to the system that have brought down the skill gap between players in a match significantly for high and low MMR matches. If you look at the ranked
Yet they haven't
skill difference
eliminated
chart
it.
below, you can see two spikes that negatively impacted match quality in Season 3 and the recent changes that have started bringing this back down. We're almost back to where we were when Season 3 started. Looking at the high MMR group, GM players and above, roughly half of our matches have an MMR range of about 4 to 5 divisions, while 25% are at a difference of about 5 to 6 divisions, and the worst 1% of matches are at roughly 10 divisions. Grouping behavior drives a large part of this gap. Remember, in Masters, players can group with other players who are up to 5 divisions apart.
And divisions. I feel like they're full. So I don't understand how divisions work. I assume it's GM, so you have 5 divisions. Let's see. Watch, ranking, ranks. Yeah, so 5 divisions means basically if you're GM 1, you can play with a Master 1 at 10 divisions. 5 divisions means it'll be basically just be GMs against GMs. Not the ranks, not 10 ranks apart.
Yo, how's it going, guys? And I'm
Yeah? Average. Guess, fuck are the lines are supposed to represent? They don't have any labels. Player delta. Or 4 lines, there's 5 people in a match. Fuck's. I think this is out of 100%, so 0.8 is 80% higher than what it should be, and this is lower than what it should be. Player delta percentiles. What the fuck are these graphs? 80th percentile, 75th percentile, 95th percentile, 99th percentile of what? Dates. What's the fucking what's the what is the y-axis? What is the y-axis and what do each one of these represent? They're the percentile. 99th percentile, but what's I guess skill range? Then what does each line represent? The 50th percent. I'm actually kind of curious what made these spike in the first place. I don't even know how to read this properly, but it makes me wonder what fucking caused the spikes in the first place here. I guess players coming back at the start of Season 3? What's this one? This is Season 3. What's this? Love is in the Air event? 50th percentile. Half our matches have an MMR range of about 4 to 5 divisions, while 25% are at differences of about 5 to 6 divisions, and the worst 1% of matches are at roughly 10 divisions. Match player delta percentiles. I don't actually know how to interpret this. They're not explaining this well, and I think they're trying to be a little bit vague here with numbers, which is kind of weird. And it's like fucking trying to pull apart a marketing slide from Intel or something about an upcoming processor. Like they're intentionally trying to be obtuse. Lower is obviously better, but what is this supposed to represent? 1.8? Is that supposed to be deviations? Player delta percentiles. Differences in rate between people. I assume this is standard deviations. I believe they're using standard deviations, which obviously lower is better. That means you're closer to the center of. This is a fucking horrible graph. Who the fuck came? They're intentionally trying to do this so you can't actually pull numbers out of this. So if you have a normal distribution where you go up like this and like this, you have tail ends of the distribution. You want to be closer to the center of the distribution. That means there's less variation in it. You could also do it with variance, which is easier to understand. But I believe this is graph standard deviation. And high rank, I assume, is your MMR, which is, let's say this is GM. Then what are the percentiles? 99th percentile of a standard deviation. What the fuck are they doing? What is this? I guess this might be too statty for me. I assume those numbers are standard deviations, which lower would be better. Percentile, intermatch, player delta percentiles. The difference, I guess, between there isn't 5 lines though. The difference between all 5 players, but it's not, and it's those are supposed to be percentiles. Player delta percentiles. This is MMR. Why are they making standard deviations of percentiles? What? Looking at high MMR, roughly half our matches have an MMR range of 4 to 5 divisions. Dude, so like one of the first things you do, just like with programming, you fucking label your shit so people can understand your shit. Like just like with coding, you document everything. You document it so if someone comes along, they might not be knowing exactly what you're doing. You help them to understand. This is like someone doodled this on their fucking lunch break. What the fuck is this? And then they didn't explain it. Like it'd be different if they actually explained it. Like figure 1, figure 2, figure 3 sort of thing, and then in the actual lines here. Like I see lines and lower is better, and the lines went down, right? But they don't actually tell us what these lines mean. Like it says it's the percentiles, but this is low rank, so this is the 99th percentile of low ranked players. So what? It would be 99% of maybe that's it. Maybe it is worst 1% of matches, and this is wrong by the way. This would be like low 1% in. So I think that's what this is. This is not because this doesn't match. This can't be the amount of. I think this is standard deviations. This can't be the division difference. Player delta. So I guess maybe averaged across the entire group of players in the match. But then they also don't give you like there's a lot of ways they could have done this to make it much easier to understand. So what I think this is this is in standard deviations. This is the average difference in the worst 1% of matches, and 99th percentile would be 99% of matches, and that could be either the low end or the high end. It could be the least amount of deviation or the most amount of deviation, we're going to assume this is 1% worst. Because 99th percentile doesn't tell you which direction this is going. So it's like 95th percentile does not tell you which way it's going. So this is the worst 5% of matches. This is the worst 25% of matches. And this is the worst 50% of matches, which is going to have a smaller and smaller number because you're including more and more of the distribution. Whoever fucking made these charts, fuck you, by the way. I'm just going to straight up say fuck you. Yeah, so I assume this is 90. This is the worst 1%. Which makes it a shitty way of wording this, by the way. That's why in MSI Afterburner it says 1% lows or 0.1% lows because it tells you which tail end it is. And I mean, you can kind of logic it out, but if someone's reading the chart in the first place and they don't know what it means, it doesn't help them out. Okay, yeah. So being descriptive, just like on Nantech, they misconstrue 99th percentile with 1% lows. It's not the same thing. 1% lows, I mean, can mean the same thing, but it doesn't necessarily. It could also be 99th percentile could actually be this. It could be the 0.5, it'd be kind of a worthless graph, but you have 0.5% on one tail end, and you have 0.5% on one end, and now you have the 99th percentile, which is the center portion, which excludes the outliers. I mean, it wouldn't actually be worthless because then you'd remove the worst players on the outside edge, and that also would not be what this graph is, because this is the difference between players, and we can see here 99th percentile is the highest number, which tells us that this is the 1% worst matches, 1% with the highest deviation between players. And I shouldn't need to do this. This is something that is literally taught to people, and they're supposed to be like, maybe I shouldn't word it this way. Because it could mean this is 99%, so you cut off the tail ends. And actually that could have a meaning because you want to remove outliers from the both ends of the spectrum, so you give you the best possible, most stable number where you remove the outliers, you snip the outliers off the edge. That could be 99th percentile. It doesn't tell you which end of the tail end it is, or whether or not it is inclusive, this is the 1%, or if this is the 99%, because it could be a percentile of either or. And I am assuming here that this is the 1% worst matches, so the most deviation is the 99th percentile, just like in when benchmarkers just fuck this up. And this is the 5% worst matches, which is why we can see it coming down. And this is 25. It's like they made a game to try and make you figure out in order for you to figure out how the numbers work, you have to understand. You have to be privy with stats to understand how their numbers, yeah. They could use charts here. They could use standard deviations. This isn't standard deviations, by the way, nor is variance, which would be another way of doing this. Would probably be better because this is less understandable than a standard deviation or variance, in my personal opinion, which is the amount of deviation in the chart itself. Yeah. And you could show the amount of variance in the match or the amount of standard deviations in each match, but they don't. Instead, they show the differences in the worst 1% of match, this worst 1%, worst 5%, worst 25%, and worst 50%, which is just half and half. They don't word it this way. And they could have just done all, for this, they could have just done all matches, overall all matches. Okay, so now looking over this again, it looks at the medium ranked, I assume is basically plat. In the worst matches, you're at 2.75, which is actually really high. But despite it being really high, there's no blips here on the radar, right? But at the low end and the low ends, there is. Their matchmaking, guys, by the way, is really fucked up. It is absolutely fucked up. They got a bunch of people trying to pull a bunch of different ways, and then they see a flat bar here, and they're thinking everything's working out properly when it's not. Like, it almost seems like they're making the matchmaker harder than it needs to be, and it is fucking them up. They're trying too hard to make the matchmaker good. Conversely, it actually looks like it gets better. If you look here, when this goes up, this actually went down. It looks like whatever happened here when new people showed up, it actually improved their matchmaker ranking. According to these charts, it improved their matchmaker ranking. Whoever did this, they must be inside their own head just fucking around with this shit. Because it doesn't look like it's working, and then at the same time, like the way they're parsing their numbers is probably leading to making it not work. This is really fucking weird. This took me a bit to figure out because they don't explain it, they don't label it properly, and at the same time, even though it is labeled properly, technically labeled properly, it's not understandable to whoever is looking at it. Yeah, so good. Good. Number goes down. I mean, that's basically a takeaway, right? Number goes down, the better it is. But this is the average delta, and they don't explain that. The average delta between players, the average difference between the players in the match is 1.8 difference. This is not the min and the max. This is the average. This is the average in the worst 1% of their games at high MMR. All right, let's move along.
Okay, so that's where we were as of March 6th.
Okay.
Let's talk a bit about how our matchmaker was working at this point and the changes we're making to improve it. I'll try not to get too into the weeds. When our matchmaker tries to make a match, it looks for players as close to each other's MMR as possible. As it continues to search, it will expand to players with larger differences in skill.
Which will
Prior
increase
to season
and
3,
decrease
we had the ability
the
to
longer you
control
wait.
the rate of expansion independently for each queue. In Season 3, we changed how our matchmaker expands over time, but removed some of our control over per queue behavior. This meant that if we wanted to reduce the size of skill differences in competitive, we had to do the same thing in unranked and arcade. If we wanted to get shorter queue times for unranked by expanding
If we wanted to reduce the size of skill differences in competitive, we have to do the same thing in unranked and arcade. Why? Because they remove per control per queue. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just control each queue for unranked and ranked and make things stricter for things that matter, like competitive, and less strict for things like quick play and arcade, which don't matter, right? Because it's just throwing games together because it's not comp. Change how our matchmaker expands over time, but we remove some. It's not like you're throwing arcade players in with competitive players, so they have to be the same. Why the fuck would they do this? Like I said, I really don't think they know what the fuck they're doing, and they're just kind of just lollygagging through it. It's probably something to do with this being less work. My guess is they just made a general rule set, and they was like, fuck it, let's just do this. And as a way of not having to fuck around with the queues anymore. So they tried to streamline basically the queues from a coding perspective at the expense of what they're trying to do, which is making fair and balanced games. Yeah, it's not like, hey, look, we have to keep these guys equal because these arcade players are going to be thrown in with these comp players if they wait too long. No, they aren't. They're different queues. It doesn't matter. Why? They're looser. It's basic logic that they'd be looser in quick play and tighter in competitive. So why would you do this at the end of the day? I don't know.
If we wanted to get shorter queue times for unranked by expanding skill difference requirements, we could do that, but then competitive would have wider skill differences too.
Why? Why would you do? Like, they're saying, oh, these two things are linked together, but why are they linked together? What did they do that now these have to be linked together? Why would they be linked together in the first place? They're different queues doing different things in the game, their game that they're designing. Like, you don't need to streamline this so you can spend more time just fucking, putting a dildo up your ass or something. I don't know what you do with your free time, but like, this is part of your job. Why would you take this out of the queue system? Why? Like, hey guys, I mean, we could make the game a little bit looser, but we'd have to do it for arcade. It's like, is the end result here that they want the queue times in arcade and like the only thing I can assume is they want the queue times to be the same in arcade, competitive, and quick play so that people won't play the two with a shorter queue time. Is that the end result that they're looking for here? That's the only thing I can surmise from this, is they want to make sure the queue times are the same so people won't play quick play and arcade. People play quick play and arcade because they want to play quick play and arcade. It's nothing to do with queue times for the most part. I'm pretty sure most people do not play quick play because they're like, fuck man, the queues are so long for competitive. Maybe top 500 players are like that. Top 500 players are like 0.0001% of the player base. They don't fucking matter. Fuck off. Just like I say, ignore the lower 50% of matches. As far as game balance goes, top 500 is not something you balance around either. Like, it is absurd. And in and of itself, you're going to have players that are really, really good that will represent an absolutely tiny part of the player base that things should not be balanced around because people can't get to that point. If it becomes a big part of the player base, then you'd have to need like top 1%. That'd be a little bit different. Top 500 is not top 1%, though, or top 2% even. It's not. That's not what it is. So balancing around that or making queue changes around that, yeah, just because you don't want someone on stream to bitch about your queue times, please, fuck off. Like, League of Legends has like 12-minute queues or something like that when you're at the top end. I don't know what they are now, but it used to be pretty high. I don't understand this. And obviously, players that are playing top 500, if you've seen the games that some of the top 500 players are playing, it really looks like it's just random players thrown together. Like, they aren't even representative of their skill tier. So, yeah. I don't know. It's not like you're watching an OWL match every time you see top 500 players. It's just, it honestly just looks like you're watching Masters or GMs play together. Like, it literally doesn't change anything. Yeah, I don't really get this. This is putting it aside. Hey, look at the graph with no labels, guys. Here, look at the y-axis here. Yeah, we don't even label the y-axis. That's fine. X-axis, which is X and Y. Y-axis, right? It's y-axis. You look at our y-axis, no labels. Hey, look at this is actually the average difference between players in this match. So you have someone that's like 5 tiers apart, 1 tier apart, 2 tiers apart, and then they average them all. And then this is the average number. They don't tell you that at any point in time here. Okay. And then this is the 1% lows. This is the 1% worst of their matches. This is the 5% worst of their matches. Except they do percentiles, and the percentiles could, well, technically right, could also represent. They don't make it completely descriptive of what this is. You wouldn't want that. And this is 1% worst matches. The 99th percentile could be, once again, the section in the center of your distribution and 0.5% on the ends. Yeah. Or it could also be the center of the distribution and not the ends. You just chop off the ends because it can actually mean different things. Or it could be the top 99 percentile or the bottom 99 percentile, or the top 1% or the bottom low 1%. And you assume this based on the numbers here that this is the 1% worst matches. 1% worst deviations basically is what this is. But they don't tell you. Bravo, stats guy. Bravo. You got us good. Okay. Blizzard has no idea what the fuck they're doing, and once again, like, at no point here do they explain why they have the same ranking, the same queue times, or try to get the same queue system. The strictness of the queue system is the same for arcade. Why? Arcade, quick play, and comp. Why are they interlinked? That's the question here from all of this so far, is why are all 3 systems interlinked? Why? And the only thing I could surmise is because it's based on trying to get exactly the same queue time, so people will not prioritize those other 2 game types over competitive, because they're probably seeing a drop in competitive players, is my guess. And there's probably a shitload of people that play quick play, despite quick play not being even that much fun. They need a new quick play mode. I've talked about this before. That's for a different video, different discussion. But basically, it needs to be more casual than it is, because quick play isn't comp. It is where you just go to fuck around. And they should have a mirror matching and like a 12v12 with just more time and just more meat into the grinder, so people can just fuck around and do whatever they want without it really mattering, because that's what people want to do, just like Team Fortress 2. They don't want to have a competitive experience when they play quick play. That's why they're playing quick play. Anyways, moving along.
In the patch we released on Tuesday, we implemented the first of a series of systemic changes, more are coming in Season 4, that give us back the flexibility to tune these modes separately and gives us new ways to tune the system. Competitive can once again have its own set of parameters for how wide the skill gap can be that is separate from our other modes. This week we will be tuning these values to tighten the skill gap in competitive as much as possible while keeping an eye on queue times for that mode. Additionally, in the mid-season patch we added the capability to sort parties together that have a similar player delta. We're now able to get similar parties together in a way that minimizes role delta, which has resulted in significantly lower party queue times. It also concentrates wide parties together, which has made a dent in our player MMR delta. Hopefully, that provides some much needed context for all of you and helps you to see the amount of work going into the system. However, your experiences are what really matter. We'll be collecting a lot of data this week and listening to all of you as well.
Data
I'll be
points,
providing some
guys.
short updates soon, most likely through Twitter. That's
Why?
it. Hopefully we'll be moving on to other topics for future updates.
Literally
See you
post
all
it
in
on your
game.
fucking website, not on your Twitter. Your game, Overwatch is not your personal game. Do not post it on your Twitter. Post it on, unless it's on the official Twitter. Post it on the blog. Post it on Reddit under a developer name. Do not post it on your personal Twitter. Like I'm supposed to come in and give you engagement on your fucking timeline. Fuck off. You're a company, or you represent a company. Anyways. So, from what it looks like, I take that back, guys. What it looks like is they pushed a half-baked system into play. So, I'll take that back. It's not because they want to keep the modes they want to keep the modes identical in terms of queue time. Rather, they pumped a half-baked system live, and now they have to fix it, and they're fixing it. Huh. Okay. Yeah. So, that's a thing. Apparently, they didn't have the code in place to differentiate between the different game types, and now they do? Uh-huh. This is why work from home's ending, by the way. Holy shit. I would buy that. Yeah, that probably sounds more reasonable. This is just, hey, we haven't finished the code yet. Let's push what we have live and just band-aid it before we finish the code. Okay. Okay. Or they wanted to do it. I mean, there's a lot of ways they could have done this prior to, like if they're testing, they don't need to do this for competitive. They could have kept the old system competitive. I guess this was just hands down better than their old code. Once again, Overwatch 1 didn't really have these problems. They were all ironed out in season 1, or not season 1, like season 0 through season 2, I would say, is when they ironed out all these issues that they're running into right now. And I don't really see any benefit with what they're doing over Overwatch 1, besides the fact that reduced queue times is basically what it amounts to. And that's at the expense of strictness of the MMR between players. There's strictness between classes now, where there wasn't. It was just overall. But instead of having been relatively strict with MMR rating, now they're trying to reduce it so that you have faster queue times at the expense of balanced games, as you can see by watching people in top 500 play. So, yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Let's take a look at the Reddit here and see what people are talking about. Uh, obfuscate. Definition of obfuscate. Render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. Yep. Or you can't group, but you're actually not getting the worst match making in the game right now, according to this data. I heard a top 500 streamer is whining about not being able to group and stomp players. Yep. I haven't watched any that have complained about that. I'm sure they exist, though. Director's take, but why is he never give? Ah. Simply showing the ranks of your teammates would go a long way in adjusting how to play in high skill deviation matches. I could see that. It'd also allow you to bitch about them and bitch about rank. Yeah, I'd assume that would be used for more evil than good in that case. Your win rate doesn't matter. It's based on who you're playing against. Win rate in general doesn't matter. Because if you're at the wrong rank, you are going to be put into matches where they're easier and you're going to win more, and your win rate's going to climb. So saying you're a gold tank and you've won 60% of your matches, for instance, doesn't mean you're going to be phenomenal tank. That just means you're good against gold players, which means you're probably just better than gold. No, rank, yeah, the difference here between rank and ELO, SR, MMR, whatever you want to call it, hidden MMR, is not the same as your actual rank is silly. I don't know why that exists. I don't know why that happens. The chart represents the rank difference between the lowest and highest rank in the match. I thought it was the average difference between the ranks. Mm-hmm. Good, good, good. Happy Satsang, guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Make a highlight of this. In a second here, gotta make content for tubes. I am my own editor, so be nice to your teammates. They're trying, okay? That's why you just don't even talk to your teammates. The best way of dealing with people in the game is just not to actually associate with them and just use pings, because that's all they need to know. You don't need to be their friend, because you aren't going to be their friend for the most part. Sports player is actually Grandmaster Overwatch player. Cool. Longer queues with balanced games. Yep. Real problem in Overwatch 2. I see. Okay. You read it. Takes a little bit to buffer the highlights, so. Their lunatic decided to delit his 7950 X3D. Cool. Yeah, apparently I've heard this too. 7800 X3D is now 20% faster than the 1300K in 1080p. Interesting. I'll wait for the benchmarks. That's coming out next month, so. Very little reason to expect 7800 X3D to be significantly faster than 7950 X3D simulated to be a 7800 X3D. I would agree with that. Yep. Why about a 1300K? Which I might be able to tweak a little bit more by turning off the E-cores I paid money for. Wonderful. Ready. From match player Delta. Okay. 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 All right, let's see what bad decisions the developers are making now. Okay.
2 weeks ago, we talked about balance and matchmaking in our blog update. Matchmaking has continued to be a big topic in the community, and it's something
Because you get goals playing with GMs.
If it's important to you, then it's important for us to talk about.
Okay.
So I'd like to update you all on what we're seeing and doing. One note before we begin, I think we're
Reconnect. Did. Okay. That's weird. It must something decided to restart at 3 in the morning on Twitch's end because my internet was perfectly fine. So, and now it's back normal after reconnecting. Huh. Yeah. Alrighty. Start export. Exporting. To the tubes it goes. Be ready. Why is this not? What? Oh. Okay. Off it goes. Bye-bye. Making content. Yep. Look, guys, I'm a YouTuber now. I got views. I got views, guys. Look at all those views. Look at all those views. I have so many views now. Okay. Moving along. Okay. Give me that's. Perk idea to counter tunneling. No, just learn how to deal with tunneling, as a lot of the survivors knew how to deal with tunneling when I played the game. So, yeah, no, fuck off. And a lot of, even after the added reassurance, a lot of people didn't use it because apparently it didn't work, which is completely untrue. You just need to know how to use it. Apparently, knowing to go over and click on the hook and then run away isn't enough for some people. So, yeah. Click on the hook, run back, and do whatever you're doing, and make the killer waste more time. Tough to understand. Okay. Okay. Nothing on WWE's Reddit. It's just people bitching. New killer's out. No one gives a shit about them because the killer's actually pretty bad. So. Alrighty. We're going to play in Gamazine. We're going to go off Gamazine, guys. I have some tweaking to do still. Yeah. Game is not what it used to be. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I need to tweak because I'm now on Windows 11. I don't know if I'm going to keep Windows 11, but I probably will. Seems like I found an option that was making a huge difference, which was full screen optimizations. So after changing that, maybe now we can do a little better. I'll play a couple games here first before we start doing stuff again. It seems like some of the options that have changed in Windows 10 are no longer applicable here. Wait. Kidding me? I love when the dashboard seems to not update properly. Good. Hey guys, I'll be right back 1 second. Ready. Yeah, I have it on already. It already does stuff. Normally what I've been... That's actually kind of a shitty version of... It's called a suspender. It's been in circulation probably 7 years at this point. I have on my laptop. I don't have it on my desktop because it doesn't matter. Because I don't have that many tabs open. Laptop I have it though. Good, good, good. Mm-hmm. Also, not sure I'm going to keep it on my desktop, because it doesn't always turn back on right away. You can set up whitelist and shit too, but I don't feel like doing that. Mm-hmm.
Traveling to Nepal.
Glad you were thinking of me, though, Slane. Mm-hmm. The memory saver feature's been out for like a month, though. Guess it depends on how often you restart your Chrome. Sometimes they don't push features to everyone.
There is
And you have to manually turn them on, too. They do, like, staggered releases.
Watch for their weaknesses and strike.
You're my weakness. Maybe I should strike you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
My friend is actually my enemy, as they will use you to get to me. That is my weakness. Ah, yes.
I'm taking this now.
What?
The flames of liberation rise. Thank you.
Yeah?
I will not
They no longer update for Windows 7? Someone killed their Anna. I didn't even see their Anna. Get that just right. It really fucks up their,
Enemy over here.
Another one falls.
Concussive out. Establishing aerial position. Repulsion. Excellent teamwork.
Zarya? Yep. Uh,
Aerial positioning underway. confirmed.
I am on fire.
Team kill.
Huh. Okay.
First round. 1.
Hey. Hello.
That's without me, by the way.
Score. 1.
Looks like it's mainly Armada. Might just be a super unbalanced match. I think we have a cheater. Usually if you have a cheater, it's like one guy with like 20 kills or something. So.
This should be interesting.
Uh-huh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Hey. It's Kiko.
Sarah?
Enemy here.
Alright.
Thanks for the assist. The skies await.
Can't wait to have a pissing match all game while accomplishing nothing. Good.
Enemy over here.
Buddy. Hot as shit to dodge.
Returning to battle.
Mm-hmm.
Justice reigns from above. Let's kick this off.
Well, that sucks. Not much you can do when you're pinned by a hog in a corner. With his Q. Besides die.
All systems nominal.
First game of the night, guys. Already got a mirror match with Farah. Lovely. Oh.
Okay, my head's in the game. Aerial positioning underway. I don't think so.
And I still have the fucking Hanzo shooting at me.
Fortified.
Enemy here. Justice reigns
There we go.
from above.
Alright. Oh my god, that was a Hanzo kill too. Yep. There should have another ult up.
Nano boost administered.
Oh, that was close.
Enemy over here.
There we go. Probably gonna come around right.
Enemy.
Yep.
I knew I could count on you.
Just trying to learn how to I swear to God, guys, people are fucking animals and they can sense. They can sense when you're vulnerable. And, like, they just try.
That's 3 in a row.
They just try to fuck with you. Because they sense you're vulnerable. Like I mentioned, prior to upgrading to Windows 11 and having kind of weird issues, guys, I had no problems with Pharahs. And now, like, every night we're getting Pharahs now. I have no idea why. Fucking obnoxious shit. 42 and 13. We'll give it a couple more, though. The Me Too Pharah. And all you can do is basically you just have to shoot at the other fucking Pharah. It doesn't matter. It's like literally self-destruction. I mentioned it before, Pharah is not a counter to Pharah. However, you have a Pharah constantly hounding your dick, they will follow you to the ends of the earth, and they don't give a shit about their damage. They just want to kill you. And as such, you basically have to shoot at them, and it's just self-destructive. All you have to do is literally shoot constantly at them. It doesn't matter if you... I had someone earlier this morning when I was off stream doing this shit, and all it basically turned into was me just shooting at him constantly and him shooting at me constantly. We both did nothing the entire match. And it doesn't matter, because Pharah's not a counter to Pharaoh. However, the pressure that you exert means you'll eventually get a kill. And unfortunately, even if it takes them a while, which I've talked about before, even if it takes them a while, like, they get a morale boost and they'll just keep trying to do it over and over. It encourages them to be even more of an animal. It's incredible. Like, they don't see the stats, they don't care about limbs or damage or suppressing the enemy team. All they care about is killing you. And that's it. It is absurd. Or, like, Widow is an answer to Widow. Pharah's not an answer to Pharah. You spend a shitload of time just fucking with each other. And not really accomplishing much of anything. And basically just amounts to deaths, is all it turns into. Which is pretty fucking obnoxious, but that's basically the way the game plays. So. Really doesn't matter how many times I die. I just gotta keep attacking Pharah. It doesn't matter what my damage looks like or my limbs look like. You shoot the other Pharah and they expect you to swap characters, and that's why they do it. They just keep doing it until you swap. I swear to God, it still feels like there's delay. I want to play like a couple more matches here. Before I tweak stuff. I'm gonna try turning on full screen optimizations again.
Mind the gap.
What you need for midair is flicks and direct hits, and I don't have that right now because I'm trying to figure out Windows 11. It's part of the whole process. So.
Increasing altitude.
That's the way it is.
Double elimination mid-ascent.
Things still feel off compared to Windows 10.
Don't think so.
My settings on Windows
Your
10.
jetpack.
Even though my performance is better, it doesn't look like my...
Double kill. Triple kill.
Multiple hits can
Probably would have killed me.
Welcome to Oasis.
Like my input delay is different, and that's unfortunate, and I don't have a reflex analyzer, so I can't even look at that. Oh, Jesus. Good. Uh-huh.
strike from above. No unnecessary risks.
Just another day in the office.
Yep, there's mods for it. Oh, one of the reasons I didn't upgrade to it, there's mods for it already. I have one installed, so it's on the where my other bar was. Some things are still different. Where are your friends?
Messy, but we got it done.
Where are your friends? Look, they're there. Huh. Okay. Guess he saw me reload. I don't know if he baited me. I'm pretty sure I was out of ammo.
Nominal. Repositioning. A clean kill.
Buddy.
We're outnumbered. Be advised.
You. Yeah, this is not where you want to be. Like 10 HP left.
Making another approach. Taking off. Justice reigns from above.
Yeah, thanks for running into it again.
Justice reigns from above.
Headshot. I thought it was the Orisa that killed me.
Keep an eye out.
Up and away.
So my accuracy on last match will be lower than normal, and that's purely... You guys working together? That's interesting. But go find yourselves an Anna. Alright.
En route.
Over there.
Cool.
I need healing.
Sombra responded before the healers did, despite them looking at me and me hitting that. Was I purple when I died? No. No, I wasn't. But yeah, I'd say that's one of the big downsides of Windows 11 is the fact that the taskbar is... It's not just in the center. It is basically unadjustable because Microsoft had to push their... hit that. You guys. Cool. Apparently there's a Reaper there. I didn't even fucking hear this guy. He was just shooting at me. The sound in this game is fucking atrocious. I think it's worse in Windows 11 than it is in Windows 10. I didn't have these problems in Windows 10. I don't know why. Buddy.
Always more to learn.
Best round
Cool.
lost.
Our numbers are low. Careful.
Got kind of a poopy team here, guys. Got kind of a pooper.
Score
A little bit of a pooper here.
2-1.
We're getting run over by a Reaper.
Pre-flight checklist complete. Running clean and hot.
Feel as though I'm not getting heals either, which is also not good.
City of unfettered scientists, yeah. Until they call Helix in tears at 2 in the morning because the wolf bats escaped again.
Wolf bats.
4, 3, 2,
Hmm.
1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Establishing aerial position. Cobra
10 HP. 6.
The
The
skies away.
objective is now active.
Aerial positioning underway. They outnumber us. Keep it tight.
Top.
System repair. Group up here.
Christ.
System
Alright.
increasing altitude.
Reaper again. Alright. Oh, I'm gonna die to him. That sucks. Our team is actually pretty terrible. I don't know if it's the healers or the DPS. Tank. I think it's actually the
Returning to
tank,
battle.
based on our numbers here. When they have enough time for 2 people to chase me around, that means our team sucks, so.
Stand up straight.
Establishing the aerial position. Positioning. Justice reigns from above.
Cool. I'm pretty sure the Reaper and the Sombra are on voice comms. Not that it really matters, as I mentioned before, I'm pretty sure our team just sucks dick. But that's just the way it's going right now.
Let's show him some air power.
Good.
Aerial positioning
He's
underway.
our tank. Having a bad tank is actually a really big deal, so.
I feel a worm inside.
Scatter.
Yeah.
Taking off.
Yeah, Diva.
Swish.
Like, they don't even have any, I don't know how he survived that just now. That's kind of weird. He didn't get concussed from my concussion that hit right next to him. You see how it hit me and didn't hit him? Ah, weird, huh?
Shake it
Hit
off.
right next to him, too. Good.
Increasing altitude.
Might as well. Pretty fucking terrible team. I think it's the tank, I'm not sure. Tank, we didn't get any heals either, so it might have been healers encouraging the tank. I don't know what's going on in this match. Enemy team wasn't very good either, so it doesn't matter. Next game. For a data point, like, we didn't really have any major opposition there. They just kept chasing me around, and our teammates couldn't do anything while they were doing that, which is interesting in and of itself. Something was going on there. We're missing 2 players or something in that match. Felt like it. 1 to 2 players were missing. Good. Which actually would be the tank. That's basically just the tank, actually. Because the tank counts for basically 2 players, so. Good. We'll do another one before we change anything.
Maximum impact. Taking off. Concussive out. Touch the sky. You aren't watching the skies.
I swear they made the bots after you fire to just stop the moment that your refire comes up. Yeah? Like in time with my refire. Maybe it's a lesson in staggering your refire.
Traveling prepared to
Good. Nice game.
select your hero.
Good, good, good. Okay, pre-made. Uh-huh.
Strike from above.
Like, my overall aim feels better, but my accuracy is lower, so I don't know what that means. Like, it makes it easier to hit stuff compared to Windows 10.
Always completes a task to perfection.
I can't hit flicks worth shit now.
Stay close. I can't hear you if you stray.
Down flying characters.
Three, two, one.
And let's find out if there's a cheater in 3, 2,
Start the pair.
1.
Dispersing. I need healing. I need power. Messy, but we got it done. I require healing.
Okay. That's not a good sign if I need to sit there and wait. We have a teammate here somewhere. Get rid of that. There we go. Meanwhile, we have 3 teammates just doing something somewhere. Well, that was all going on, which is kind of incredible in and of itself. How long till toggles, guys? How long till the toggles? Let's find out.
I don't stay down.
Heading strong. Launching the payload.
I need to figure out how to kill Mercies. Especially when they're flying around. I missed. It's like my aim is it's more consistent now, but it's completely different from Windows 10, and I have no idea why. Something changed between Windows 11 and Windows 10, and it's not the same anymore. It's like a lot of the muscle memory is just gone. Direct hits. Cool. What are people being reported for? You mean our shit Winston?
Let's show him some air power.
The payload.
Taking off.
we go. We can get rid of the other healer. There we go.
I'm taking off.
Jesus Christ!
I'm back. Up and away. Concussive out.
Holy shit. It must be a pre-made. They can't fly. That's why I don't have teammates. Okay. Now. Like, I don't even need a heal, but I just need to get healed, and I need people just like move. Mercy just observed that.
They outnumber us. Keep it tight. Now. Increasing altitude. Picked off.
No, we didn't make it.
I see an enemy.
Hey, buddy. He just used his fucking... Is my MMR really low or something? He just uses drink in the middle of... Whoa, we're stuck.
Returning to battle.
I think he's just sitting on the point and putting down his shield, and that's all he's doing. We'll report him at the end for gameplay sabotage. Now, that's not normally something I report people for, by the way. But he's clearly just trying to fuck around, and I don't know if it's because he knows I'm streaming, or because he's just being an asshole, or what. We'll report him for sabotage, though.
I require healing.
No. I have located the enemy. 9.
I wanted to fall. Up and away.
What the fuck are they doing? Like, anyone! I don't need a heal, but I just need to get healed when that's going on.
I will.
Is there a reason for that? And he went sleepy sleep. Now he's getting woke up because their team apparently sucks. The healers at least were healing me at one point, and now they aren't healing me. I don't know what that means. The two healers are obviously grouped together.
Establishing aerial position.
No fucking idea what this game is, guys.
Repositioning. System repaired.
Bad idea for me. No. When you go on a roof, like, you can conserve jets, but then it stalls you.
Always more to learn. Increasing altitude.
I'm dying to a Reaper. No, let's get rid of that. And that. There she is.
Repositioning. I power.
Got it! It took a bit. She wasn't near Q anymore. We'll get there. Oh my god, I'm on the other side of the thing, aren't I? Yeah. And goodbye, tank. Hey, what the fuck was our tank doing this entire match? I mean, he's kind of doing stuff now.
Repositioning.
Our healers are doing like they just like decided they weren't for a while. Get it, guys.
Aerial positioning underway. Taken down.
30 seconds.
That's accurate again. She's gonna hide in a corner.
All systems nominal. On the move.
I don't know if I can get there. Oh, Mercy's gonna do it. Got. That sucks. These games are something else, guys. We've had some pretty incompetent matches. I don't know what this is. We're gonna report the tank for just being a dumbass for half the 2/3 of the match. We ended up with 25 limbs, and it felt like I didn't have a fucking team. Why? What the fuck's going on here? Oh yeah, good. That's not a usual thing, guys. Normally, like, I can't even use this last match, like, for data points here. I don't fucking know, guys. Like, these 3 matches tonight are not very good. Doing well? But that's not a... That wasn't a normal match. They didn't have any hit scan. They didn't have any fucking hit scan, and our teammates were dumbasses. This might have to do with their matchmake changes, maybe. Let's take a look at ranks here. Yeah, they're golds. I'm playing with gold. What the fuck is this? And paired with plats. I guess maybe these guys aren't even doing anything? Like, did the game derank me to gold? Because I'm not doing comp? What the fuck is this? Silver. Why am I playing with silvers? Hey, we have to play comp now. But, like, before it was tolerable? There we go, that's better. Still fucking silver and diamond. Gold? What the fuck is going on here? This changed in like the last 2 days. It started on Friday, I guess? There we go, that's better. Holy shit. Oh, this is from earlier today. For some reason, tonight we are getting put in with golds and silvers. What? Prior to that, I was playing with diamonds and plats. Masters. Like, did they just expand the ranks so you have faster queues now? This is the Sunday night? That's fucking weird. Okay, well. I guess they made the matchmake rank better, guys. Don't worry, they told me. I saw it in the dev blog. I would fucking wait 6 minutes to just get a match with people that are decent. Which is decent and subjectively around my skill level. That's absurd. We had people literally not doing anything last match. And thinking about that now, it might not even be that they just... Like, I don't even have any data. Because I'm not playing against good people now. What the fuck is that? That'd probably explain our earlier match where it felt like we were missing teammates because we just had diamonds on our, or not diamonds, golds on our team.
You weren't watching the skies. Up and away. Where's your jetpack?
I don't know, guys.
Messy, but we got it done.
That felt delayed.
Increasing altitude. Picked up.
Felt delayed as well. Sometimes they'll get like weird key delay.
Welcome to Blizzard World. Prepare to attack. Select your
Mr. Diamond. Gold, silver. What?
Strike from above.
Diamond, silver.
You stole
Bronze.
all the things that Helix was supposed to protect.
Is this?
My
Why? I can't imagine there's this few people playing now. Diamond. I guess that's the expanded group.
I don't work with criminals.
Who's the guy on my team that's a
What's right
diamond?
isn't-
The other
Then you
DPS.
change the
Master.
laws.
Easy for you to
It's other
say.
DPS. Holy shit. They've done a number on this game, guys. Holy fuck, what are they doing? It's like they're intentionally trying to kill the game.
3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture objective.
It would explain why we got rolled by a Reaper.
I require turret detected.
for getting heals. There. Holy shit, guys. Like, this actually is... This borderline isn't fun to play, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm playing against people that are so far apart from me that I can't either depend on them or expect them to do certain things because they're enemies. That's... Like, this is quick play, this isn't comp.
Escort the payload.
Sebastian literally standing still. Okay.
Let the Kitsune guide you. Up and away. They outnumber us. Keep it.
Doing back there. Good. Didn't even hear him. There needs to be a transformation sound for the tank. There isn't really. All you can hear is when the tracks start, and usually you're dead at that point.
Shake it off.
Looks like he's cheating now, which probably explains why he's standing still. See?
Right back at
Good. These are pretty miserable games, guys. I get it that it's Sunmon right now, but holy fuck.
Ooh, I'm gonna shove them in a locker.
I guess short queues is how Blizzard defines fun, so. Now their entire team's just chasing me. Good.
Up and away. I don't think so.
Kind of makes me feel bad for reporting that other guy earlier. I thought he was actually intentionally griefing. I think he was like a fucking gold. I think it was a gold tank. I think it was a gold tank, and that's why what was happening was happening.
Aerial positioning underway.
Still no hit scan. Like, there's Bastion. Literally just fucking walks around in his normal form and doesn't turn into a tank every time it's up. Fuck was that? Hello?
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
That was weird.
On the move.
They have a hit scan now. That's Sebastian. That's Sebastian again. He literally just fucking stands still. What kind of aim is that?
All systems nominal. On the move. Come on, team. Push the payload.
I hope this isn't, like, they mentioned that they're gonna have upcoming changes in the coming week. So maybe this is just today, and maybe this will play out later. But it... Yeah, I don't know, guys. This looks like another match where we have fucking golds in here.
Play of the game.
Maybe if anybody looked at the fair, that's the point, is the matchmaker rank was fucked up. We had people that weren't doing what they're supposed to. There should have been more pressure applied to me, and they should have been doing more predictable things, I guess you could say, and they weren't. I don't know, guys. This is, yeah. Kind of makes me... That makes it not fun. Like, that's, that actually takes a lot. If we can't get balanced matches... Like, actually kind of makes me want to... Like, we're playing with golds. And I'd assume I'm around, like, a... like, plat diamond is what I normally get. Excuse me, more diamonds now than plat. Plat diamond and upward. Now we're getting golds and silvers. That's not where we want to be. And you could tell. You could just feel it in the match. There wasn't pressure in the right spots. You can tell when certain classes are not emitting the same amount of pressure they used to. Feels like it changed today, so on Saturday, which is kind of weird that they'd have a matchmake change go live. Sunday, excuse me. Or you'd think it'd be waiting until like Monday on the workday, right? See if tomorrow's like this, it might just be a weird peculiarity. I don't even think I'm going to tweak something tonight because I can't tell. There's a difference between me getting good matches and being able to figure out whether or not my accuracy's loaded or not, I guess you could say.
Establishing aerial position.
Unless a bunch of people quit, like last week. I don't know why they would.
Now
Compared to normal.
Young repair for battle. Select.
Silver and gold. Gold.
Strike from above.
Alrighty. I don't know, maybe this means the game's dead. Maybe it means there's just like no one playing so they can't make good matches anymore. That'd be, I mean, it is 4 in the morning, which is generally a downtime. Two tapped. Oh, this is a cheater. Played with him before. He's still cheating. Good. Well, this is gonna be a fun match.
I need healing.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Good.
Up and away.
And he's just goose stepping. Mercy wants that res.
Messy, but we got it done. Pick up your on the move.
I'll be taking the objective.
Aerial positioning underway.
Yep, just shot me around the corner.
Making another approach. Repositioning. Enemy over here. Taking to the air.
Didn't get her. Cut. On the other side.
Okay, my head's in the game. Increasing altitude. Leave the wall.
Looks like he's just hiding and waiting for me to show up so then he can just two-tap me. Definitely wall looking. He's trying to buffer the kill cam too. Might have been looking at his teammates now.
Nominal.
It's easy game.
Junker Queen.
Up and away. Securing the objective.
Overtime.
Establishing aerial position.
Not really the Echo. Echo's not really doing much of anything. It's just McCree.
Thanks for the assist.
Good. This is so fucking weird. Like, normally you expect people to do certain things, and they aren't doing certain things.
Round lost.
Thanks.
So it might be a targeted aimbot.
Score
He doesn't have that many kills.
0.
Or damage for that matter, so it might be targeted aimbot. We played with him before. Definitely know he's cheating. So. Hence his earlier comment.
can keep up.
Probably trying to buffer kill cam and shit. Aww.
Not as quick as I used to be, but I'm still the fastest gun in the New West.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Aerial positioning underway. Enemy here.
He's a knower. He knew that I didn't have my E up. For him.
Returning to battle. Increasing altitude.
No. Not even on the same side. That's the Echo, which is not very good, so it doesn't really matter much shooting at me.
Dispersing. Attack checking in. I knew I could counter.
See if we can palm tree tech him. Yeah. That's kind of interesting.
Took your landing, huh?
And hits all the shots now. Yeah. So we're stepping. Goose stepping. Good. Yeah. Good shit, guys.
Time to kick some tail. Up and away.
Good all. So now he's getting a little bit more, not egregious.
I don't stay down. Increasing altitude.
Aggressive with his cheating. Or probably earlier he was trying watching it. This guy is totally just watching me through walls and just waiting for wherever I show up. Yeah, you can hear him just goose-stepping around. Huh? Oh, he's hungry. Yep. Bet that's a pretty good one, too. Yeah, that was.
Making
A
another.
little bit more blatant and obvious than he was in round one. Good for him.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Yep.
The skies await.
Or it could actually be this, like, just has the same name, but he actually got banned already. Which is a possibility, because you have the same name as people, so.
There's one. Stomp him.
Not hard to get new accounts.
Got something to kill.
No. The deed is done. Or he's just sitting there on the side trying to kill me. Once again, this guy's a chip on his shoulder because he's actually cheating and he knows it, and he's trying to make a point of him not cheating by cheating more aggressively. By being more blatant with his cheats, he's trying to prove that he's not cheating. I mean, fuck off, dude. There's like no way for you to check, like, if I go and look at his profile. Yeah. So this guy probably made a new account. Prior to this, I believe this guy had like 8 hours on an account, and it was, his profile was public. My guess is this is a brand new guy that's doing the same shit. Brand new account that's doing the same shit. So, I'll be able to tell again if he ever shows up again because this account is muted, so I'll be able to tell if it's the same guy or not. Because he likes jerking off, so. Really, the only way you can tell if it's the same player or not is through squelching. And he just goose stepped out.
They outnumber us. Keep it tight.
We gotta watch for rollers.
There's one. Stomp him. Establishing aerial position. Concussive out.
Get him? Maybe. Nope. Might be two people cheating too. The Anna also looks suspicious as fuck, but we'll see. Three we already know is cheating. He probably has a private account because earlier he had an account. He's bragging about how few hours he has. If I remember right. Good. He missed his attack. He's trying to hit the fucking McCree. Oh my god. Good? Yeah, and Goose stepped out once again, beat completely out of place. Very confident in his cheats. Yeah, and that got him killed. Good for him.
Be advised.
Good? Yeah. Uh-huh. Good. Just for me? Surprise, guys. So I don't know if this is complete pre-made. This guy's obviously cheating. We got rid of their tanks, it works. Going over right for the side that I was going for. See it? Look at that. He thought I was going to go left, instead I went right. Alright. So I don't know about the Hanzo. The McCree, or excuse me, the tank might also be cheating. I'm not sure. Port this guy again. The Ana might also be cheating. We're going to take a... Normally I don't look at replays, guys. We're going to take a look at a replay here. It's generally a waste of time. Take a look at the Ana. That was a team effort, by the way. Everyone on that team was trying to kill me. Specifically me, so it's probably a pre-made. Peek.
Ready for battle.
Oh! Was this the Echo that really sucked? It was! The Echo toggle, this is the Hanzo. This is the Hanzo with like 5 million damage at the end of the match. I wish you could see the scoreboard in replays. Way to see scoreboard. Like, they really sucked earlier in the match. So round 1, I think most people, like, the McCree was cheating in round 1, but he wasn't blatantly looking at people through walls. He started in round 2.
Ready for battle.
Still was not cheating. The Hanzo, that is.
The objective is
They really were trying to win at the end here.
That was interesting.
I believe this is Anna?
I'm here. Ginger protects you.
Helping us on Anna.
Double take some time off.
This is when the Hanzo started getting a shitload of kills.
What's up?
End scoreboard. I can't see the match scoreboard. Seven 76. He actually didn't do that good. That's a tank. Well, yeah, at the end here, he definitely went up quite a bit. He was doing really horrible about halfway through the match. This is when he switched to Hanzo at the end of the match. Where now he has a boatload of damage. He matched the McCree. Hanzo. Let's also take a look at the... $7 and $2,500. A couple times.
ready for battle. Ready.
Let's just skip to the end because that's when they seem like they're actually the most obvious.
Ready.
Missing all this shit. Yeah. Get it further in here.
Hello.
This is when we started dying to the Anna too, so there's probably a call to arms and voice comms.
Hello.
Yeah, these guys obviously know each other. I don't know where this guy's damage came from because we definitely aren't seeing it. Okay. Doing something. He's gonna hit all his shots now. When was that? That was 13-0.
Hello.
I don't know where his damage came from, guys. He has a lot of damage at the end of the match, and it looks like he hits absolutely fuck all. So, I don't actually know what he was doing the entire match to generate the damage that he did. Wait, what?
Step right up. Easy picking.
No, I don't know. I don't know where this guy even got damage in the first place at all. Yeah, I don't get it. He has the same damage as the McCree that ran over our team, but he looks like he's doing jack shit. I was actually ignoring him on Echo, despite Echo's being really good at killing Pharah. I don't know where his damage came from, but it honestly doesn't look like he's cheating. I don't know. I have no idea how he even generated any damage. I think that's one time he actually killed me. No. Reinhardt killed me. Let's fast forward here. So, I don't know where his damage came from. It showed up in the damage log.
No unnecessary
Let's go for the Reinhardt here.
Ready for 5,
So, I assume this is a cheat lobby. Last time we encountered this guy, he was in a cheat lobby.
1. Round
You guys know each other.
capture.
It looks, I'm pretty sure it's a new account. Not that a Reinhardt is someone that you cheat on, but it wasn't these. It's later in the match. We're gonna take a look at Anna. McCree was definitely cheating. Didn't really, besides the Anna, didn't really look all that weird. The only reason we looked at the Echo was because she had a lot of damage at the end of the match. I wonder, guys, if there's a way when you are cheating where you can make other people flagged for your damage. So if you're doing a shitload of damage, it'll actually show up as another player doing it. Well, the McCree I know is cheating. I've played with him before. He bragged at the beginning of the match. We put him on Squelch, so if I see him again, I'll know if it's a new account, because when you're Squelch, you can't unsquelch yourself without a new account. And his profile is private this time. But this guy had some weird fire strikes, and I thought at first, like, he missed the McCree on our team, which was doing a lot of damage, and he hit me, but it definitely seemed like he was trying to kill me at the end, which is what I'm looking for right now. And while it might seem weird for someone to cheat on a Reinhardt, I've seen people, we've had cheating mercies, so, you know, whatever. Nothing looks weird here. Where did he start killing me? Like right at the end. The crew is very blandly cheating at the end. Right there is one. He killed me like 3 times at the end of the match. Just missing a bunch of shit. That hit me. That also hit me. That also hit me. I don't know. There's so, like, fire strikes require so much lead time, it might just be normal. So, whatever. Let's go back to Anna. Anna's the one that I actually wanted to look at here. And it's this guy. On Kiriko is when he started playing Anna.
Keep fighting.
Fucking weird matches tonight, guys. Oscillating between people that aren't anywhere close to my MMR, and then we just got like a hardcore cheater match. There's one.
Younger guy.
See if we can get a nice juicy pre-aim here. Who doesn't miss? That looked like pre-aim.
Step right up.
You mean because this guy doesn't miss? Yeah. Yeah. I think we saw one miss so far. And aimbots can miss if the mouse aim deviates far enough from the target aim. Then it'll detach. So it's not hard locked and shit. Shooting your random shields. He's missed. Some misses. Misses. Could have just killed me. Wait and see. Sometimes you see some really weird shit. And normally I don't look at replays because it's usually a waste of time. But I've had a couple people the last couple days where we looked at stuff and we saw... I wasn't even going to report them until we looked at the replay. Because we saw some pretty bland pre-aim. It actually really makes me wonder, though, if there's a way of... Because if cheaters, if there's some way of doing something, they'll figure it out. They're coders, too. And one way to make yourself look a lot less obvious... is if you move half your damage to another player. That Hanzo, for instance, did not look like he did anything at all, and had the same amount of, almost the same amount of damage as the McCree did. Hello.
One of these days I'll end up in Fiji. I'm here. Keep fighting.
You can look at the scoreboard at the end of the match. I don't know. Oh, this is the first time I've ever seen it. It's the only thing I can use to explain it. It's the only thing I can explain the amount of damage that we saw on Echo slash... Echo slash Hanzo was that somehow he got damage moved to him. Match. I don't see anything on the Ana. It was definitely McCree was cheating, though. We already reported him. But like that guy, we watched his clip, and the only reason I looked at him because I didn't think he was cheating. The only reason I looked at him was because of the amount of damage he has at the end of the match, which the Hanzo down here has almost the same amount of damage as the McCree does. And the McCree was destroying our team, myself included, because he's trying to make... I called him out as a cheater probably a week ago, and he's a big stink. Made a big stink about it in chat and everything like that. And apparently he had a hard-on for me again, which is why he's focusing me. But this guy did almost the identical damage to the McCree. Like, look at this. And this guy was walking all over our team. This guy wasn't really doing anything. You guys saw the replay from the Hanzo. He wasn't doing shit. Whether he was on Echo or Hanzo, like, that didn't make sense. And the Ana killed me, but she looked normal, so... I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of is possibly somehow this guy moved his damage to this guy's character. I don't think it's impossible at all, because that'd be like manipulating a server stat. But from what we saw there, it kind of looks like this guy just didn't hit any of his shots. But this guy hit all of his shots, and he has a shitload of damage. I don't know, guys. No idea. Wasted time, as I mentioned. We just wasted 20 minutes, saw basically nothing new, but sometimes you run into some interesting shit. Alrighty, guys. I think we're going to call things here tonight. We had some really shitty games tonight. not talking about cheating. Like even the games where I was dominating, they weren't normal matches. We're playing with golds and shit. Like it didn't even fucking make sense. Like why were you? The matches weren't fun. Like I'm dominating everyone, but that doesn't matter if you're not. It's not actually challenging. Like you can't even pull my accuracy numbers here because we're playing against like golds and they apply no pressure. So I don't even know if my accuracy's on. They aren't nearly as good at dodging as like say diamonds, for instance. That Antarctic. Oh, this is. Yeah, I don't know, guys. We didn't even do any tweaking tonight. Weird matches. Sorry. I'm out here for the seating, guys. We're going to call things here. If you are new to the stream, you enjoyed the bullshit, you enjoyed the fun, you enjoyed my shenanigans, make sure you hit the follow button in the top right-hand corner. I use stream every day from evening to late night, GMT-6, so 8 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time to 1 to 2 a.m., give or take. Depends what's going on in my life, what's happening, etc., etc. Podcast was longer tonight, but that's purely because we had to cover the documentary, dev docs, dev blog. Yeah, and take a look at their matchmaker, which seemed actually worse tonight than normal nights. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. So, I don't know. I'm out here for the seeing, though, guys. It was fun. It was a blast. But tomorrow will be more OW2s. Hopefully, we will get into things sooner. But I'm out here for the seating, guys. Thanks for watching my stream as always. And I hope you guys have a wonderfully fantastic Sunday night and Monday morning. Have a good day, guys.